Hi, welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV, and this is the aftermath. Well, you know what? I'm so overjoyed. I'm still buzzing. What a fantastic victory for Arsenal. Absolutely massive win and brilliant performance by Arsenal. I just felt that the game, I was expecting a really difficult match. I mean, Spurs have just gone to Manchester United away and won, but in the end, I was quite surprised on how easy it was for Arsenal to win that game, and we could have had more. We could have had 4 or 5, and you know, I looked at Tottenham and they were just flat. I mean, they were trying, but they just could not live with Arsenal. And I said to my brother when we was going to the game, I said, listen, if Tottenham come and set up and play 4-4-2 against Arsenal, they're going to get absolutely smashed. And that's exactly what happened. Arsenal Football Club are not Manchester United. Listen, Manchester United are, as we know, they are the champions from last season. We're not going to disrespect them in that way. But their midfield, Manchester United's midfield, and even if you ask a Manchester United fan, their midfield is pretty ordinary. Whereas Arsenal, their midfield is their strong point. The absolute strong point of Arsenal Football Club, well, apart from the defence this season has been exceptional as well, but the midfield is always our strong point. How are you going to come and put 4 players against 5? It's bad enough when you're 5 against 5 with our midfield, the way they pop the ball around. You've got players in there like Santi Cazorla, Jack Wilshere, all great technicians on the ball, right? How are you going to come and put 4 against 5? You're going to get mullered. I mean, what was Tim Sherwood thinking of? Or was it the Arsenal fan in him coming out that just thought to himself, doesn't matter if we lose, it's still a win-win for me. But in the end, incredible performance by Arsenal. They were intense. They were closing down. I mean, that second Thomas Rosicky goal, the way he closed down Danny Rose, took the ball off of him. I thought to myself that he was going to get caught up, but no. What a brilliant finish by Thomas Rosicky. And the first goal, again, Serge Gnabry, who to me was the man of the match for a little young kid, 18 years old, coming into the game, has played a few times this season, but remember, he hasn't been playing week in, week out. But every time he comes in for Arsenal, he doesn't let the team down. He looks like a mature player. I mean, they're chatting about Januzaj at Manchester United. They need to take a look at this kid. To me, he's the star at the moment. He's just so calm, so composed, so skillful, so quick. And the way he put that first goal on a plate for Santi Cazorla, and then what a finish by Cazorla. And the roof lifted off of the Emirates. I mean, fantastic atmosphere there on Saturday. We were right near to the Spurs fans, and I thought they were pretty quiet, actually. They were really behind their team until they went 1-0 down. And it was almost after, when they went 1-0 down, it was almost like they were just resigned to defeat. They just couldn't see any way back in, and they were just so quiet. But anyway, let's take a look at what you guys had to say about it. And let me tell you something. I say this every week, but there were hundreds of tweets that come in. I mean, we ran a little thing, actually, where we were asking people to send in their Theo Walcott celebrations. And we got them from all over the world, from New Zealand, Australia, Africa, Indonesia, anywhere you could think of. You know, they came in. That was absolutely brilliant. Let's get into the tweets. Let me not waste no more time. Melbourne Guna from Australia says, for the second time this season, our boys knew what this derby meant. So true. Knew what it meant to the fans, and they really gave it their all. Now, that is true. I mean, players just went out there and they know that all Arsenal fans want to win that derby, and they really put in a performance to match. Optimistic Spurs fan said, we had no Szczesny, Gibbs, Mertesacker, Flamini, Ramsey, Ozil, Giroud, Bentner, Podolski or Chamberlain to start the match, and we still won. And we hear about squad depths, and I've had repeated Tottenham fans tell me throughout this season, since the start of the season, that they've got the best squad in the Premier League. Well, I didn't see it there. If I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be really disappointed that we spent a load of money, I'll be thinking to myself, and we're still nowhere near Arsenal. That is a worrying thing for Spurs. Leng Prime says, We could have played more kids like Zaliem. That's how easy the game was in the end for us. Luke Rogers said, he may not have scored, but Theo showed everyone he can play up front. His movement and off the ball was brilliant. I thought Theo was excellent on Saturday. Like Luke said, he didn't actually score, but he was a threat. Every time that ball was sort of played in behind, it was absolutely terrifying for the Spurs defenders. And if you play Theo up front, it's going to mean that teams are going to have to play deep because his pace, nobody will be able to catch him. It's just such a shame that he got injured in that game because I would have liked to have seen Theo up front in say, Aston Villa next week just to see, you know, see what dynamic he'd bring to the team in that game. Subariva says, another great victory. Bring on Coventry, of course, who we've drawn in the next round. So that's a very good draw for us at home. Hopefully, you know, a very winnable game. And he said, the Walcott celebration just made my day. Onwards and upwards. Now let's buy a striker. Trey COYG says, winning is turning into a habit for Arsenal now. We just need to shop for the right players in the window and the league is ours. Gibbs says, Spurs fans throwing coins at Theo. Haven't they wasted enough money this summer? Classic, Gibbs, classic. I love that one. I love that one. Callum Buchanan says, as much as they were good, you've got to question Tim Sherwood. Was he trying to achieve... What was he trying to achieve? He played right into our hands. Exactly, he did. As I said, it was a win-win for him. He's an Arsenal fan by the... So if Arsenal win, he wins. If Tottenham win, he wins. You know, win-win. Costas Stamulia says, question. Why on earth was there so many Spurs supporters at the Emirates during the match? How did the club allow that? Well, Costas, when it's an FA Cup game, the away team gets a lot bigger allocation. I've forgotten the percentage right now. I think it could be 15%. You're allowed a bigger allocation for a game like that. So actually, Spurs should have had actually a bigger allocation, but there was I think the police got involved in that, and because it was a night game, they didn't want more than the 5,000 that we gave to Spurs. Spurs could possibly have had 9,000 fans for that game, because when you got the FA Cup, to make it more fairer, because it's something that's drawn out of the hat, the away team gets a far bigger allocation than what you get for a Premier League team. So it's not really down to Arsenal Football Club. That's the rules of the FA Cup. So, you know, that's why they have to let so many Spurs fans into that game. But you know what? It's great. To me, I love it. I love the rivalry between the two sets of fans. I think it's fantastic. I'd love to see that at more games. The Arsenal said, we showed our Sunday League rivals which team really belongs in North London. Getting a lot of funny ones today. Shannon Gray said, can I ask why on earth the media and pundits are going mental over Theo's gesture? Can English fans not take banter? Now, listen, I was right near the Spurs fans. I actually got hit with a bottle. Don't panic. It wasn't a glass bottle. Thankfully, they have plastic bottles there, but it had a little bit of water in it, and it just skimmed my head. I was like, what's that? Spurs fans throwing things. Some of those Spurs fans were totally out of order. When Theo went down, now you know, in these sort of games, when a player goes down and gets put onto a stretcher, normally what happens is, you know, the away team will give him a little clap or whatever. They were booing Theo. They were chanting, let him die, let him die. They were throwing coins at him. And then Theo just makes a gesture. Yeah, actually, by the way, you're doing all that, but we're winning 2-0. There was nothing wrong with what Theo done. And I'll tell you, I was so happy to see Theo do that, because it just showed what passion and what fight we felt for that game. We were up for it. Sahil Singh Panu says, Rosicky was outstanding. However, we need a clinical striker in January. Berbatov doesn't cut it, but Costa surely does. I can't see us getting Costa, as I've said before. I think Berbatov may be one of our only options. And Marcus finally says, Sanya and Rosicky deserve new contracts. Gnabry played well, and fair play to Theo for showing the scoreline to the Spurs fans. And Spurs fans, in case you didn't know what the scoreline was, there it is again for you. 2-0. 2-0 to the Arsenal. Absolutely magnificent. Just what the doctor ordered when you're starting a new year. Arsenal at the moment, we're flying. The vibes are high. The only downside is the injuries. We're starting to pick up a bit too many injuries. Arsene Wenger, please go out and get us a striker. The striker situation and who we're going to get. I know it's really difficult in January to bring in the type of striker that probably Arsene Wenger is looking at by what we saw of the type of strikers he was trying to sign in the summer. He went after Higuain, he went after Luis Suarez. So you can see he wants someone who's like that real top quality. Is that sort of striker out there and available? I mean, today we're hearing a lot of things about Jackson Martinez. Great goal scoring record in Portugal, but he'd be very expensive. I know he says he wants to come and play for Arsenal, but will he be that X-Factor type player? I don't know. Is Berbatov a good option? You know, Berbatov, couple of million. You don't have to give him like a year contract. So if he's not successful, you could ship him out. If he comes in, we've seen him in the Premier League. He can score goals. I know people say he's lazy, but if he's in a better team, an Arsenal team that's flying, we may just get a lot of goals and a lot of things out of him, and he wouldn't be cup-tied in the Champions League. But would Berbatov sit on the bench? That's the other question. Do we need him? Theo on Saturday looked good. Podolski, all right, he had that game, he didn't perform, but it's one game. It's a really hard one to call, but I would like to see us bring in a top-class striker. That seems to be the only thing that's missing at the moment. So I'm still buzzing. I'm still buzzing for that magnificent victory. Listen, leave your comments below. Tell us what you thought about the game. You can send us your 2-0 celebrations as well. Still buzzing. It's onwards and upwards for Arsenal. Next game, next week, Monday, Aston Villa away. You know what? They're not performing at the moment. It's always going to be tough when you go away from home, but I'm backing the boys in that game. It should be big. And also, don't forget, go to our shop. We've got a sale on at the moment. You can grab yourself some T-shirts, etc. But it's Arsenal Fan TV. In a good mood today. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 0.
Hey guys, it's the FA Cup third round. We're not at Emirates, we're here at Cheers Bar, George Street in Sydney. And as you can hear, the Arsenal fans are singing, they're loud. We caught up with a few of them before the game, asked them a few questions. Here's what they had to say. We are top of the league, say we are